Hello, I'm here at the Re-Institute with Tom Goldenberg. He's part of Material Sustenance show that's open from May 27th to July 15th. And Tom, can you tell us something about yourself?
Sure, I'm a painter, lived in New York City for 45 years, moved to Sharon, Connecticut about 6 years ago, and had an epiphany of my work because seeing the glacial remains from millions of years ago, the rock formations, the stone walls of Connecticut, my sense of the landscape changed from depicting real objects, the horizon, the trees, the sky, the water reflections, to things I'd seen in Europe, the Middle East, the footings of ancient buildings, perimeters of Italian hill towns, and the remains in the Middle East, the Alhambra, things that were denoted passage of time, and it reminded me of what I was doing as a painter and how I got started doing this when I was a child. My mother would give me a can of water and a paintbrush, and I would paint the bricks of the side of our house. And I was fascinated by the way the tone and the color would change and then dry as I moved on to paint further down the wall. And it really sensed a feeling I had of seeing things and looking at things and fascination with that, and it was catapulted even further when I was older. I was taken to the Art Institute by my parents to see real paintings, and I was just totally transfixed by that experience, and it led me to end up pursuing painting as a vocation. It really developed into these paintings, as I said, with the landscape, not doing representational work anymore, but doing these large abstract paintings on the floor, not on Belgian linen oil paint like I had in the past, but with cast-off latex paint I would find at the transfer station, i.e. the dump, and use this material that was available for nothing. And it was a liberating situation, and it was also something that picked up on my sense of musicality and studying music, learning the guitar, where it was a constant working process, where there were no gaps, there was no sitting back, sitting down, looking at the paintings, but being actually in the paintings. And there are footprints of the sneakers I wear when I'm painting in the pictures. So it's a process of immediate movement and immediate gratification in terms of the manufacturing of the paintings. So the drawings also work on the same aspect of overall completion and composition, and a spontaneous method of handling the paint, not making overall conscious decisions of, does this look good, is this going to affect the composition, but spontaneously, intuitively building the paintings and making it a complete picture.
Well, thank you. I find this big one here has almost a religious feeling to it. It's an amazing kind of structural presence. And this one to this side, when you say that there's a relationship back to art, architecture and landscape, this one reads so richly in its depth and its entrance.
And there are these sort of diagrammatic pictures of little footings of buildings, ruins of buildings in the landscape, which in the series of work, also in this work over here, there's this same kind of pictogram on the right side that I use as a compositional device, but also as a device of an architectural remain and structural marker in the painting. The same is where these kind of, there's a perimeter here, and then there's kind of a architectural plan of what would have been like a city structure or building structure. And I think the whole idea of the passage of time in the landscape and the history of millions of years going by and people living on the land, it is a religious aspect. It's a very important feeling that I have of what I'm doing while I'm working, and it's a very enjoyable, very pleasurable kind of thing to comprehend and to deal with, and to make these pictures about that.
Well, thank you. I hope you can join us here at the Re-Institute to see the show and the rest of the work.
Great.
Thank you,
Thank
Tom.
you.
Really a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for the opportunity of showing these large paintings in this great space.
You're welcome.